You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a smoker or dipper looking to make a change, you really only need one reason to do it. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you can find many. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch. It's made with only 6 simple ingredients. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Learn more about Zyn and find your reason to make a change by registering online at zyn.com.
Chris Cote, we skipped past the useless sound montage earlier in the show, but I really did think that Jonathan Gannon, I don't know whether he introduced himself to us during this useless sound montage, but we're always looking for, the Chuck Pagano memorial guy who will just spit cliches at you, rat-a-tat-tat. Jonathan Gannon of the Cardinals, and you might want to pay attention to them because Kyler Murray looks really good back there. And if teams like Detroit are making trades for pass rushers, it's at least in part because they know they're going to have to corral some of these quarterbacks with a pass rusher who could slow a Kyler Murray.
But this is a very exciting day. It's the first time you have said something about that, like that about an NFL team. We should keep an eye on the Cardinals.
I'm not saying.
Wow.
I'm saying keep an eye on.
I'm going to keep an eye on them.
Keep on the eye on their coach because he's a cliche monster, and he hit us with a flurry of them in his post-game press conference after dismantling the Bears.
That's what's allowing us to win games is we take one day at a time, every second counts, maximize the day, keep blinders on, and go about your business.
That's 5 of them.
Crushed it.
5.
That's Hall of Fame stuff.
5 cliches. The man's a machine. Here, let me hear it again. I thought he was going to stop at 3, but he just kept rising into the sky.
That's what's allowing us to win games is we take one day at a time, every second counts, maximize the day, keep blinders on, and go about your business.
And go about your business.
The blinders just brings me back.
I would think once you put the blinders on, it's almost impossible to go about your business. But then he took it a step further. Blinders are for horses, correct?
Yeah.
And they go about their business when the blinders are on.
Yeah. My dad tried to say a few weeks ago that horses enjoy being on those rides in those cars.
One of the most asinine things your father has ever said.
Look it up.
No.
Oh, was that here? I thought that was on the Greg Cote show.
No, it was here, yeah.
No, it was here.
And that
Ridiculous.
Cobley would recognize him.
Asinine. Greg Cote, you were so wrong about that. Because you're a horse owner, you don't think that that's actually cruelty to horses.
Why would it be? You're protecting them from the stuff that makes them nervous and anxious.
Horse racing is cruelty to horses.
No, it isn't. They're very high-strung animals. They love blinders. They love being focused on what's ahead of them, not what's rat-a-tat-tat to the left and the right.
I think if Ron McGill were here, he would tell you that as a sport is either cruel or inhumane. They don't like any of what you're doing to them. They don't like that they're running, that you're whipping them. They don't like any of that.
What about dog sledding? Because I know for a fact those dogs love that shit.
Iditarod, the dogs do love that.
They love it.
The dogs do
Until
love
they
like
die
that.
in the snow, they love that sport.
Oh,
It's
wait
cold
a
out
second.
there.
Hold on. I'm trying to back you up. As someone that actually drove one of those dog sleds, I was backing you up. But now, all of a sudden, I've changed my tune. Horse racing is murder.
Look, there's no horse that is better treated than a thoroughbred racehorse. Okay, there are exceptions in every form of life.
Just ask Bob Baffert.
Like Santa Anita, where they're all dying at a disproportionate rate.
That's the track, and that's bad trainers. That's not the sport itself.
It's an alarming number of horses dying. It is the sport
It's
itself.
too many.
It's the sport itself. If they weren't training the horses to race like that, they wouldn't be killing them.
That's not the Valor way.
Okay,
He's
you're
right.
Team Valor, my syndicate, has a wonderful track record for leading the industry in healthcare.
That's why you joined them.
The horses,
They have dental too, Dan.
the horses, they run a mile and a quarter. Okay, they're not running marathon. They're not running 26 miles. They're running a mile and a quarter.
They're being whipped to run faster.
Not
with
necessarily.
marathons,
Not
by
all
the way.
horses are whipped. And
Dogs-
if they are whipped, it's a love tap on the left.
Only if they
Some are
run slow.
Yeah, some are nay-nayed.
By the way, dogs can suffer debilitating injuries after running in that race.
Yeah, they can die.
Including damaged lungs.
Yes.
Yep.
Iditarod horses, yes, they often die.
Dogs.
Not Valor, though.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Team Ballard's a very good syndicate.
My bad.
Be cooler if it was horses.
You know what? Well, they'd die. They'd die at a more alarming rate. It shouldn't be Iditarod and horses. That's my bad. It's a totally different sport.
Yeah. Horses running in the snow would be fun to watch, though.
No.
Clydesdales.
Yes. Oh, that's a beautiful horse.
Do they like acting in commercials?
Greg, you think
good ones.
You don't think that horse racing is inhumane?
No, not at all. I mean, they're not humans, so literally it's inhumane.
Yeah,
'cause they're
technically it is.
But
Incarnate.
In that sense, yes.
Ward.
incarnate word.
Cam Ward.
Big rival Montgomery Ward. Horses are well treated. Okay.
Montgomery Ward.
Yeah, that's the big rival of incarnate Word.
Look up Montgomery Ward. Give me one. Let me get. I didn't think Greg Cote could end the show any older than he does any other week. The reference that you just made.
Yeah.
Do you think any of the people in there know who Montgomery Ward is?
Isn't it
Why
like the
wouldn't they?
Sears catalog?
It's a famous department store of
okay.
yore and of mine.
When is that defunct?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Do you think it's this century?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Famous department store.
2001.
Yeah.
Headquarters in Chicago.
It was rival. It was a rival with Sears and Roberts.
Classic Nelly.
What a great callback. Sears and Roberts. Greg, how do you feel like it went today?
There aren't adjectives enough to describe my ebullience, my joy over how well it went.
You seemed there were a couple of spots where you were hyperventilating. You had so much to say that you got
Sure.
crazed.
I changed people's names inadvertently, no offense meant. But, by and large, I thought it was a stout performance by me.
You were revving kind of high, though. You would agree? Is
Yeah.
it because of the election? Is it because of everything that's happening around here?
It's a lot going on today. This is a big day in my household. There's going to be a lot of anxiety in the room tonight, and we'll see how it goes.
Luckily for us, my dad is in with us tomorrow because we didn't get to a doozy of a story involving a bathroom.
Really?
I don't want to get to it here.
No, well, I did want to get to it here.
Okay.
The only reason, look, this is maybe we can tease it if you want.
The rare tease for tomorrow
I think
that we're
it's a
doing
fruitful
now.
story. I don't think there's time
Save it
for it here.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
I need
save
some.
it.
If
Yeah.
it's a Greg funny thing,
Save
let's
it.
save it.
We're
for
gonna
tomorrow.
need it.
Yeah.
Could use some sunshine.
I have
Okay.
a second funny Greg thing as well.
Ooh, save it for
good.
tomorrow.
Little surprise, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, for
Nice.
tomorrow, though.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that you're here tomorrow. I did not know that you were here tomorrow. But the reason that I wanted to add this on to the postgame show is because I failed you today. One of the promises in our contract is that we promote the Greg Cote show featuring Greg Cote when you come on.
Fine.
Right. Thank you.
And we didn't do that today. And on this episode, evidently, there is a story that involves bathroom habits. And I don't want to say much more than that.
Don't.
But evidently, your wife is mortified by you and some of your bathroom habits. And we have found the Cotes to be Chris learned from his father. Chris does not wash below his knees. There are certain hygiene things that Chris and his father do that might make Erlene feel like she lives in and around apes that don't know how to properly take care of a bathroom situation.
I will say that you can listen to my latest Greg Cote Show podcast and try to discern what we're talking about because my wife is on there. I had her on to back me up, and everything went off the rails. That's the only thing I want to say.
Yep.
Okay, so you thought
Classic bait and
you
switch,
thought
huh?
your
Yeah,
bathroom
yeah.
habits were good. She was there to this was probably embarrassing to you.
It turned out to be.
You
It-
didn't
it
go,
did-
but you went in thinking it would not be.
Oh, yeah. I went in thinking, I have a charmed marriage. If the worst thing I do to piss my wife off is this, that's what I went in thinking.
I've noticed in a few years of marriage that defense never works. Where you're just like, look, I know this was bad, but if that's the worst thing I do, like it's usually bad what you're doing when you're saying that.
Chris, I want you to stand back from what this night is in America. Do you realize that your parents, who are now grandparents, they are the old people staring at a television, hell-bent on being scared that the democracy is falling apart. They think going back 40 years of watching election night on television, a politically active family that did not realize they were living in this America is going to turn on its living room at 7 p.m. to follow election coverage, and tomorrow we're not going to have a decided result. There's going to be no resolution because one of the sides is going to be saying, as soon as the voting starts trickling in, I won already. Stop the vote. I won. Everyone's against me. I won.
Is that a Trump?
I'm the winner.
Right, and
I'm clearly winning.
One of the worst Trumps I've ever seen.
And if I didn't win, it's rigged.
Norv Turner is back.
Terrible Trump. Terrible Trump impersonation.
It really was.
Trump.